And welcome to the Comic Corner. My name is Damon. I'm your host, and what we do here is comic book news reviews and interviews. And we had a lot of interviews over the last few weeks, and we'll discuss those. But first, I am joined with my two co-hosts. It's been a while since we had all three of us on a show. TJ Fat Thor, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. It is so good to see both y'all. It is great to see everybody watching this at home. If you're listening to this, it's great to talk into your ears this morning or afternoon or nighttime, whenever it is. But it's just so good to be here. It's so good to be here with everybody.
Always magical AF. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing really good. The sun is out. I'm able to have iced coffee whenever I want to. I can wear shorts whenever I want to. I'm a happy guy.
Oh, as the sun sets for us here in North America, rises for you in South Africa because it is cold and we're finally getting some rain here in New England, which is great because we absolutely knew that, but everyone is here for comic books, and that's what we're here to talk about. Where art thou, black cat? Ultimate Spider-Man, the latest issue dropped, and yes, we do see Felicia on the cover, but is that the only place we see her in this issue? Maybe. And our good boy Jeff has the best issue of the week. I'm going to tell you all right now, this is the best issue of the week. Jeff the Landshark in Venom Wars, the only Venom War book worth picking up. And Walk This Way, the Pedestrian, latest issue dropped. And TJ will chat all about that. But first, I have something to dump on you guys because this is kind of cool. We got some news and it involves the big man right here. Did you guys hear about this? 400,000 copies of Absolute Batman #1 have been sold. I don't know if it's at the distributor level or comic shop level. I'm going to assume that's at the distributor level. But hey, #1 comic of the year. AF, are you surprised?
Not at all, dude. Not at all. Like, I was at my local comic book shop. Everybody just loves it over there. They were sold out super quick with the first copy. So, dude, I'm not surprised. The story was great, and I can't wait for more.
First issue sold out. First issue sold out of the first printing. First issue then sold out of the second printing. So if you're looking to pick this up and you haven't yet, well, I bet you that a third printing's probably coming out shortly. But TJ, hey, the big man, he did it. Are you surprised he sold more than Ultimate Spider-Man?
I was just about to ask you that. What's the comparison with Ultimate Spider-Man?
That's got to be the comparison.
Yeah,
I don't know the numbers, but that's got to be the comparison.
Yeah, I would be interested to see how much more or how close those numbers are. But yeah, I mean, not surprising at all. This and Ultimate Spider-Man, I haven't seen people go crazy for a book like these two in a long time. I honestly can't even remember last time people were like this excited for a #1 issue. So yeah, absolutely not surprising. I mean, this whole Absolute line, I would like to see the numbers from Superman and Wonder Woman as well. I think those would be crazy too.
They're definitely up there. But yeah, Absolute Batman, 400,000 copies sold. That is just a wild number. So shout out to Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta, and the entire Absolute team because that's absolutely incredible. Pun intended. Ultimate Spider-Man #11. This is the big issue of the week. We got Felicia Hardy on the cover. We got a little tease of some Ultimate Black Cat. And let me tell you this, do not go into this book expecting a lot of Black Cat because she's in it for a whole panel.
It's for sure
Maybe
a tease.
page.
Definitely
it's
a tease.
for sure a tease.
Laying those crumbs.
Laying those crumbs. We're getting there. We are getting there. But this was a really cool issue. Obviously, Jonathan Hickman, David Messina with the art on this one. And whenever you have a big artist like Marco Checchetto step away for an issue, you get a little worried and be like, oh, how's this going to look? So far, whenever Checchetto steps away from this book, it still looks incredible. And it still feels like the visuals of the book haven't changed. The style of the book hasn't changed, which is the most important thing. So when you're reading this, it's not like taking you out of the story, especially in a big moment that this issue has. TJ, were you able to read this issue yet?
I did. I read it right before we hopped on here. And I want to say that was going to be one of my first points, was shout out to David Messina, if I'm saying that right, because I didn't even notice that it was a different artist until about halfway through. And I'm like, I don't think that this is the regular artist. And I went back. So, I mean, not only incredible art in his own right, but the way he's able to kind of stay in that vein of the style of this book was absolutely awesome. And yeah, I mean, we say it every issue. It's like, it's almost, I'm a broken record at this point, because every issue seems just absolutely awesome. But I loved it. I love exploring more, which we don't get. It's not the entire issue, but we get a little bit more with Peter and Uncle Ben in here. And I just think that, like, that's the most interesting aspect of this book, which I could be wrong. Maybe a, more well-versed Spider fan can correct me, but it's like we haven't really ever explored his relationship with Uncle Ben, like, obviously because he didn't die. So I think it's super interesting, like, seeing how their relationship is, having grown together, like, and especially in the wake of Aunt May's death. That's the selling point for me on this issue.
Yeah, anything with Peter and Uncle Ben is really more of like a what if issue or like a theoretical thing. This is like a true, like, relationship, grandfather / father figure relationship Peter has with him. We get to see that. Obviously, there's a huge caveat here because there is no Aunt May. So there's a little bit of a different dynamic there between the two. But man, the action sequences in here at the very beginning are great. Quips I just peaked. Spider-Man quippiness right here is great. I just love this book. And yes, there is a huge moment in here that I will not talk about and I will not spoil, but there's a huge moment for Peter in this book. And it also comes down to a very intimate moment between Ben and Peter, and then another one between Peter and MJ. And I love what they're doing with MJ in these Ultimate books. She is a true, genuine, legitimate character. She is a person in this world who has motives and goals, and
who would have thought?
Talk to Peter, and there's no Paul. That's always a big win. Also,
that's amazing.
That's a big one. This is, again, we are now almost officially a whole year into this run. I've been loving it. I was a little critical of the very first issue, more so because it went a little too ultimate-y, quote unquote, for me, where I wanted to be very grounded. Legitimately, every single issue since then has been incredibly grounded. So go pick this up. If you have the trade, like, it's right here behind me. Look, I have every issue and I picked up the trade because that's how much I really enjoy this story so far. Go get it, guys. Go get it. There's a reason this has been praised everywhere. And it's because this book has been that good. And one last thing. Yes, it is a little bit of a slow, I don't want to say a slow burn because it's just very intimate moments. And one of the things I really love about this book is each issue takes place at a very particular time within the month. So this issue in November, because it came out in November. I love that. So, but you're taking like a peek in the window of that month. You're not seeing like every issue kind of be like a moment after a moment after a moment. Peter develops throughout the months, and you're seeing it essentially off page, like, oh, he's doing this now. We're doing more of this, right? That's what I love about it. It feels like there's actual time jumps development with Peter off page, but still very, very well done. So hats off to Jonathan Hickman, Chicharito when he's on it, Dave Messina specifically for this issue, because this book is just chef's kiss. It's great. I got to. It's Jeff, the Venom Wars special. And as I've kind of joked around in my comic shop, the only Venom War book worth a damn. In my very humble opinion,
hey, come on, TJ,
I'm sorry. You give me Jeff in here, and it's just great. Oh, man. What can I say about this? This is written by Kelly Thompson, art from Guri Hiru. This is just peak. It's Jeff content right here. It's adorable. The very first page, you see Jeff in a little chicken suit. Perfect. Love it. 10 out of 10. I don't even know like how I can like really talk about this book because it's Jeff book, honestly. Like it's just Jeff being adorable. The West Coast Avengers, Kelly Thompson's West Coast Avengers, make a big like reuniting moment, and they fight off like all these other people who I guess are getting, you know, Venom symbiotes kind of like everywhere as well, because that's a thing that's been going on again. Whatever. But the way they solve the problem is both perfect and adorable and hilarious, and Jeff's relationship with his symbiote is also very funny. I get very strong Orca vibes from DC when he's in his symbiote self, because he gets a little big and like stands on two legs and everything. It's just like, oh, that's just Orca, but that's cool because it's Jeff. Love it. It's adorable. Go read this. Peak Comics, everybody. 10 out of 10. Silence for like just no response. That's it.
I mean, who doesn't love Jeff? I haven't read it, so but I'll say it's funny though, because so my shop, what they do is I have Venom, the main title, on my pull list, and usually what they'll do is if you have the main title, they'll pull the tie-ins for you. And I am like a month behind on picking up books, and I went in there and like literally half my stack is just Venom War tie-ins, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this. I was gonna email the shop and tell them like, hey, put me off the tie-ins, right? But I'm honestly glad that I forgot to do that, because now that means it's Jeff is gonna be in my box, so I'm excited to get to it.
Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen an It's Jeff comic at my local comic book store.
Shenanigans, riot, protest,
maybe that's something that I could advocate for. I could show them this exact clip and tell them you need to bring this comic book in. It will sell millions.
It's genuinely, guys, it actually sells really well.
Yeah,
Jeff books actually sell really well.
I was being serious, because I mean, like, imagine how many kids would buy this.
Kids and me.
Yeah, the people yearn for Jeff. Yeah, the people yearn for more Jeff.
Exactly. Go pick this up, guys. It's fun. It's so fun. It's adorable. We may or may not get like a big baby shark moment in this book, because why the hell would you not? TJ, tell me about it. We've been keeping up with this book from Magma, the Pedestrian. We're on issue 4.
I have been biting my tongue in our last like 3 episodes because I keep forgetting what week it came out. But it came out this week finally, and oh golly, is it a finale. So this is going to be the wrap-up of the first arc for the Pedestrian. There will be more to come, but they hit it out of the park. I mean, the pacing of the storytelling throughout the 4 issues is just phenomenal. Again, we start off with kind of just this good guy trying to do good things, and then we just go deep down the rabbit hole. We have the symbols of like the walking sign and like the stop hand sign. All those have like this deep like mystical lore to it, and we find that the Pedestrian is like the guardian of this like the good signs and like the stops, you know. It's crazy in all the best ways. It's heartwarming, it's exciting. I cannot praise this book enough. I've said it every issue. This is by far my favorite title of the year. We're coming in December, so it's gonna be hard for something to beat it for me. It's my favorite, dude. I mean, obviously, I love Ultimate Spider-Man. Also, you know, the big 2 books, but to me, that's like a different category. This, okay. I have just been enjoying and loving so much. I really think it's a book that everyone would enjoy. Like, it's something that I think has something for everyone. If you like more kind of whimsical stuff, this is for you. If you like crazy action, weird, just kind of out of the box kind of thinking, again, I can't recommend it enough. Shout out Joey Esposito, Sean Von Gorman. We had them on the show, so you guys can go check that out, and I would not be surprised if you see their faces popping up some more in the future.
All right, everybody go check out the Pedestrian, because it is a delight. I read the first issue. I really enjoyed it. I need to catch up on it, but now that this first arc is concluded, it's a good way to get in.
Yep. Speed walk to your local comic shop. Don't run. Speed walk. And don't forget to look both ways.
AF Green Arrow time. Tell me about it. This is the annual. We're starting off here.
This is the annual, but it's also the end, dude. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet reading this because Josh Williamson, for the past year, it's been a year basically since he started this Green Arrow run, and it's been 10 out of 10, no notes, every single issue. I've been a huge advocate for everything that he's done on Green Arrow over the past year. His team with Sean Isaacs, who we've had on the show as well, Amansa Nhilpen, Phil Esther, Romulo Fajardo Jr., Troy Petrie, they've just been pushing out bangers after bangers for the past 12 months. And this one, it goes a bit into the future. Old Oliver Queen on an island, telling stories about the past of his escapades as the Green Arrow, going back years, Silver Age, Bronze Age. And it's just so amazing because you get to see Green Arrow throughout all of these eras with his different costumes on, and then also what's to come in the future, because his past is still our future, because it's an old man, Ollie, telling these stories. So yeah, I like that. It was a very heartwarming story, tugged on some heartstrings. And yeah, it's like I said, it's bittersweet. I definitely have all the faith in Chris Condon to pick up that torch. But yeah, Josh Williamson was just hundreds, dude. 10 out of 10. I can't praise him enough.
So pardon me on this next slide, because I technically have Joshua Williamson as a writer because he's listed as a writer, but he's not the main writer on this book because Chris Condon is the main writer on this book, because we're all the way into the new era with Green Arrow 17.
100%. So there's a bit of a torch being passed throughout this issue. And off the back of Absolute Power, everybody knows Oliver Queen was working on the inside, trying to go deep undercover. And we get some of the behind the scenes in this book. That it was Martian Manhunter that sort of deprogrammed him to never admit that he was working as a double agent, which was really cool. And when Martian Manhunter was compromised, he built basically a failsafe in for when that happens, so that once he's off the board, Oliver Queen reverts back to his usual self and he's able to get out of that deep undercover persona. So yeah, that was really cool. Off the back of everything, the Justice League doesn't really trust him, so he now has to work his way back in, gain the trust of everybody, and he doesn't want to work in a team for now. He wants to go solo. He wants to go back to the streets. He wants to go back to the boardroom. So yeah, we're going to see Oliver Queen doing the things that he loves to do, that he loved to do. We won't be seeing a lot of the Arrow family, but just going back to the torch being handed over, you can actually feel the tone shift the moment Chris Condon starts writing for the last few pages of the book. And yeah, I like it. I have a soft spot for Josh, but I'm excited to see what Chris does in the future.
I'm very fascinated and intrigued with all of this for you, because if I'm correct, are you fully caught up on Absolute Power?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I was going to say, like, obviously all of those have to deal with the fallout of Absolute Power. So it would be actually kind of interesting for anyone who maybe didn't read that event, who would be reading this. And it feels like at the very least, it kind of summarized the big events with Oliver Queen in here. So if you didn't read it, you could at least be like, okay, this is what happened in that event. If I want to go read that event, cool. And that's a huge credit also to Mr. Mark Waid, who I chatted with and is now live. And we talked all about the Absolute Power event and how he was able to make sure that if you just wanted to read that specific event, you can, which is what I did. And I was able to understand pretty much everything that was going on thanks to the very well done writing. Or if you wanted to get the extra stuff, and read the tie-ins, like with Green Arrow, like with Batman, like with Wonder Woman and Superman, you get more out of it. So hats off to him. And also, of course, go check out that interview, because Mark Waid is a great person and a wonderful human being. And it was a great chat. We talked about a lot of things, his Justice League Unlimited as well. So go check that out. TJ, back to you. This is Revolution 9 from Mad Cave, issue 2.
Yes, dude. This issue absolutely rips. So this is like a total action. It's like a straight action movie. Like there's gunfights, there's people beating each other up. There's this like secret organization where the one of the members has gone rogue and they're like chasing after her. It's awesome, dude. And I've been watching a lot of action stuff lately too, so this just hit me in the perfect vein right now of what I've been into, and it's awesome. Only 2 issues in, so easily can pick it up and just kind of go from there. And again, it's if you like action movie stuff, if you like cool, like bombastic, high dynamic action, definitely grab this book.
All right, what's it about? Give me a little synopsis.
So like I said, there's it's been a while since I read issue 1, so I'm a little foggy on it, which I think goes to how good the story is. Because like I said, you could pick up issue 2 completely blind and just kind of go with it. But again, there's like this the Order of Nine, I think they're called, and they're like a mercenary kind of soldier kind of group, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like secret organization, whatever that you call that, secret organization. But again, one of the members has was sent on a mission to kill this guy, but she decides not to kill him. So now she's like protecting this guy, and her organization is hunting her down. And again, just like kind of classic action story. We got our, again, main antagonist hero, and then just kind of beating the shit out of a bunch of people. So it's awesome, dude. It's one of the, we talked about this before. It's a popcorn book. Like it's fun. It's visually very engaging. So yeah, shout out Mark London, actually the CEO of Mad Cave. So definitely go check this out.
Everyone go check it out. If you like high octane action books, popcorn books, just enjoy yourself with Revolution 9, first 2 issues out now. Go check it out from Matt Cave. All right, did anyone else here read Lawful? TJ read it. AF says no, so I will go back and forth. TJ, you've been essentially keeping up with it with me because we've been going through each of these books. This is from Greg Pak, Diego Galindo, from Boom Studios. I've just been digging this story. It really surprised me. I went into this first issue way back then, 5 months ago, dug down into it, and I was like, ooh, it's tickled something I didn't expect. This is interesting. And since then, we've been seeing, this main character right here who's been becoming more and more of a beast of a dragon, just go fully against the things that he thought was good, because what he thought was good is actually bad. And it's great. Like, I just love the messaging here, honestly. It's a really cool story. It tells it in a high fantasy way, which TJ, I expect you like as well, because there's like the knights who are essentially cops, and the underlings who are the beasts, who are essentially people who are deemed to be bad, when in reality they're just some flawed individuals, like not breaking any major laws, but hey, you cross the street, like you said, you cross the street on a stop sign, all of a sudden you start growing some scales and some horns and stuff. It's like, it's the little things, right? And they deem you to be, you have to be perfect, but in the end, the people who you think are perfect are actually very terrible, very flawed, because there is a potion that heals you of all your beastly, scales and horns and stuff, and it's just terrible. So TJ, what'd you think about this?
I really enjoyed it. I think, as opposed to you, I've been a little up and down with this series, and I'll also admit that I was reading this today, and I was like, I think I missed an issue or 2 because I don't remember what happened before. But again, I think a testament to the book, because I was able to jump in this issue and still enjoy myself, even though I knew I missed a couple things. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think mainly for the point that you said, the messaging of it. I've mentioned this with the Penguin, the Ultimates. I'm a sucker for a good, like, creative look at society and like discussions of class disparity and things like that. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and this hits that on the head with that fantasy kind of backdrop to it, which again, I'm a huge fantasy nerd. So yeah, I mean, you got knights, you got monsters, you got people turning into monsters. What's not to like, right? Like, yeah. So like I said, I need to catch, I think if I caught up on the issues I missed, I would be a lot higher on it. But currently, like I said, a little up and down on it. But this last issue, I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'll say also with this book, especially this issue, it does a pretty good job, almost like recapping the last issue. Because there were for beginning parts, I was like, oh, we're literally just recapping the last issue, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because you know, when
Which
you
is
have a
good for
monthly
me.
book like this, that's how comic books used to work, guys.
Dude,
Like,
honestly,
it's how it used to
more
work.
comics need to do that on it. Like, I don't, maybe
Yeah.
I do have a terrible memory, I'll say that. But especially for monthly books, a lot of times I'm like, wait, what happened last month? I would love like a little, like just a 1-page little recap. Like, show me 3-4 panels and be like, last week on Spider-Man, something like, I would love that.
Yeah. Shout out to Marvel, because for the most part they do this. DC infamously doesn't, and bothers the living daylights out of me. But shout out to Marvel, who at least put, you know, that nice paragraph on before.
Paragraph. I need some pictures though.
Yeah, but at least
I
a
need
little
a visual
paragraph to be like,
aid.
this happened last issue, and now we're setting this up here. It's like, cool, great, thumbs up. We move on. So shout out to them for that. One more Boom book, our last book of the week. We are cruising, guys. We are cruising this episode, which is great. This is Vicarious #2, and I don't know why. I think I called this like Vicarious when I did the first issue, and it didn't hit me. I was like, oh my god, the whole point of this is that someone's living vicariously through these main I was like, oh my goodness. Totally, the whole point just went woo way over my head. This is a very interesting look again at society, but like a futuristic society. Did either of you two check this issue out? I will talk all about it then. I will talk all about it then. This is really cool. But because again, it is a look at society, but in a futuristic way. And to recap the whole point about this, there's these people who call themselves proxies. They have a chip in their head, and essentially some like person, whatever, can log into an app and literally live vicariously through these individuals, and they connect with them, they tell them what to do, and these people will do it. So, hey, TJ, you want to climb Mount Everest, but you don't actually want to climb Mount Everest. You log into this app, you tell this person, be like, hey, let's climb Mount Everest, and then they will be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So
Sounds
you get
sweet.
to live vicariously through someone else, while they take all of the potential dangers, but you still feel, you know, the heart rate increases, you still smell the smells, you do all of that. Your physical self is not actually in harm. Now, of course, because of this, you could probably imagine there's a pretty dirty underbelly behind it, as you could possibly imagine, AF, right? So that's what this issue really dives into. There's like a more of a high secret society of all these proxy people, and you know, there's some puppeteering in work. There's some, hey, I'll take you under my wing. We'll make you into like this great person. You'll be highly regarded here. You'll be very special, right? It's another one of those books, like we kind of mentioned before, with the Penguin or whatever. In this book, really, there's no good people, because even like this guy who is now going by the name Amon, who's lived under several different aliases at this point, and may or may not have broken into someone's apartment and they're dead in a bathtub, who knows, and taken on their identity. Again, no one in this book is good. So it's interesting. I just kind of dig it. And the art in here also by Eleanor Carlini is great and really suits the, you know, I hate to call it cyberpunk. That term is just so overused, but high futuristic, but not too far stretched. It's a cool story so far. 2 issues in, go check it out.
Is it bad that I probably would just use mine to like go grocery shopping or something?
Well, no, because you'd be experiencing the grocery shopping.
Oh yeah, true. But I mean, hey, I don't gotta go though.
It's not like you're taking Uber Eats out here and like do it for me.
I was gonna say I don't even know if through a proxy I would have the stamina for Mount Everest. So I think I might need to lower my expectation a little bit.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, this sounds like right up my alley. Like, I love these sort of stories, and yeah, I mean, the only danger about books like this is when evil tech billionaires get these sort of ideas and use them as inspiration. That's a bit nervy, but yeah, as long as like there's not like you mentioned like a evil underbelly of this movie. It's not like gory or anything like that.
It's
Right?
not gory at all. It's just more of like a
How
black
messed up people are.
market. Like
Yeah.
a black market of these proxy people, which what the whole point of the proxies is actually more to like help people medically, but people turned it on their head naturally and created like this illegal way for people to live vicariously through another person. So like there was like the good tech, like medical use of this, but then people are like, oh, with this new technology, I can now have somebody, you know, eat all these foods they wouldn't be able to eat. A very
Yeah.
nice thing to theoretically do. Or maybe things that aren't so great, fairly illegal on top of the illegal, right? So I almost feel like it's almost like when you finish reading, like, ooh, you're a little dirty afterwards because of like you're just
Yeah.
seeing these terrible people do terrible things, or potentially terrible things. But it's interesting.
Yeah. Nope. I'm sold. I'm sold, dude.
Go check it out. This is
Awesome.
Vicarious, Ryan Parrott, Leonardo Carlini on the arts. That's it. We have next week's polls already. We flew through this one. We had like 10 books and we flew right through it. Here's my books as I let TJ look around for his list and AF's going to pull up his list. We have a big book next week. It's Absolute Wonder Woman #2 because these Absolute books have been absolutely killing it so far. And I also want to shout out, I am officially caught up on Ultimate Black Panther. I'm caught up.
Yeah?
I'm going
What
to
do you
be...
think?
It's cool. It is also like very
Dope,
different
right?
as well, like because it's really contained in its own thing, but it's dealing way more with like the magic side of the Ultimate Universe that I wasn't expecting at all. So
you,
maybe
man.
this next issue we finally get to see our Ultimate Sorcerer Supreme, whoever that may be. We still don't officially know. We just kind of saw like an image of them, but we don't know who they are, if they're a brand new character, if they're a twist on someone else. Oh, that's interesting. And of course, Nightwing 120 out, the second issue of the new run, which I really enjoyed that first issue. Very different tone from Tom Taylor's, very different tone, but still very good. And also shout out Hello Darkness #5. And it's not on here for some reason, but Justice League Unlimited comes out next week as well. Go pick that up. Mark Waid writing it, Dan Mora on the art. Incredible combo team that is. And one of the cool things, one of the really cool things about that book, because it's a proper Justice League book, is that there's a rotating cast of characters who will be coming in and out. Like you have your A tier kind of like always on the team, and then you have like a B and C tier who will be rotating in and out depending on what the challenge, whatever villain or problem they have to solve, someone who can really help that situation. TJ, what you got?
I actually have a very slim week next week, so I
Lucky
also have
you.
Ultimate. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I'm like a month behind on books, so not lucky me. But I also have Ultimate Black Panther. I have been loving that. I'm so glad that you caught up with it, so we can talk about it. And another two of my absolute favorites, we have The Incredible Hulk #19. I have said multiple times, this is my favorite book at Marvel. I love this run. Me and Damon just talked to Philip Kennedy Johnson the other day, so go check that out. Me and him had a really cool conversation about Hulk and kind of the mythos of Hulk, so go check that out. And then also another run that I have been loving, we feel differently about it, but Uncanny X-Men. Gail Simone, Uncanny X-Men. Love it. It's been so fun. It's so good. I really love how it contrasts the Jed MacKay main X-Men title. And it's so fun. I'm a sucker. I love the From the Ashes line. Everything has been really great. So, but I would say next to NYX, Uncanny is probably my favorite. So I'm super excited for that.
AF, what you got?
Yeah, so mine looks almost similar to yours. So Absolute Wonder Woman #2, Superman #20. I have been catching up with Action Comics again. And then I think this week Spider-Man issue 7 released. So I'll be picking that up real soon. Justice League Unlimited #1. And then I am thinking about, not actually thinking about, I am getting back into the Flash again after putting those issues down for a bit. But now that we are in a new era, I'm hoping that the writing tone changes and my boy Wally is back to who he is supposed to be. And then, yeah, Green Arrow number 18 as well.
All right. So there we go. I also wanted to shout out very quickly this week. I didn't bring it up, but Steve Alone with Scarlet Witch is pretty fun. And we get our first proper introduction to Amaranth, who is her new mentee, who is also Agatha's former mentee. I believe like the Crypt of Shadows issue may dive a little more into that. I didn't read that issue. I think I will now. But a pretty interesting start to that character. We still don't know much about her, but she is very clearly very powerful. So go check that out, Scarlet Witch fans, because I know there's a lot of you. And we have a new, maybe a little Scarlet Witch family building, like a proper, like witchy family that's not just Wiccan and Speed and Vision sometimes. So maybe we can get like a little witchy family kind of building over at Marvel. I think that would be a lot of fun. Much like how Green Arrow has his freaking Arrow fab, which is wildly large. Plus Black Canary.
Keeps on going.
It's just funny. It's like everyone is like Arrow adjacent, and then there's Black Canary. Understandably so. Arguably the best out of all of them, in my humble opinion. Got to give Dinah some shouts. All right, that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Make sure you always go support your local comic shops. If you can, go pick up some comics. And until next time, everybody.